Everybody, how's it going? Your friendly neighborhood entrepreneur here. And today we are speaking with Vova Evan. How are you today, man?
Hey Ben, awesome. It's morning time here in Thailand, and I'm all good. A new day. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, man.
You too, man. So, this is going to be a little bit different from how normally the interviews go down because we are streaming live to everywhere. And I'm really excited about that. So, what I really want to do is hear your story, right? Have a conversation, and let's teach something, right? So let's jump into your story. Let's figure out. I really want to focus on like what is your superpower, right? Like what is your superpower? What are you the best at? And let's teach it, right? So maybe you could start off where you are now, and like let's prime it to where we know like okay, you totally are a badass, and then jump back into how you got there.
All right. Interesting, man. So let's start from here. I'm sitting here in Phuket, Thailand, which is an island in the southern part of Thailand. And how I've gotten here is quite a story. So what I do, I mainly sell stuff on Amazon, and I also YouTube. I like do videos for YouTube. I consult people. I do all sorts of cool informational business things. And it took me a while to get here, and I believe it all kind of started like this little journey of entrepreneurship for me. Started somewhere in, I believe, late 2014, early 2015.
Mm.
I was traveling, man. I was traveling around Asia. I was backpacking. I was backpacking solo, starting from India and doing about 7 countries here, like Thailand, Laos, Cambodia,
Wow.
Vietnam. I've been to Japan. And I mean, I was going through these countries solo, meeting many people, traveling basically with just a big bag, with big backpack. And this sort of journey led me to many communications with people. And you've asked about the superpower, right? And I believe that one of my superpowers is to be able to understand people sometimes, to hear them, And I guess you have this superpower as well. I mean, you like hearing people, listening to them. Me too, man. It's amazing. I like speaking as well, but that's something I like doing, and I do it really well. And so I was traveling around, met really bazillions of good people from different nations, and I suddenly understood that I'm kind of a citizen of the world in a way, right? Because I saw people from and met from, I don't know, from how many countries, and we're pretty much the same. The skin color, our accents, our languages are. It's so about the same, and this kind of led me to many. Like I understood many things, but one extra thing I understood is that I want to travel more. Like I want to see more of this world because it's so big, man. It's so huge, and that's my dream for. It's been my dream for a while, and it still is to travel. And somehow, when I was about to finish my journey, I was really thin. I've lost like 16 kilograms throughout my journey because, well, I was traveling. I was really short on money at some point, and I was like, I didn't eat that much, but I wanted to keep going, and it was really interesting. But then I meet this guy, right? And this guy tells me, like, Vova, you have cool traveling stories. Like, you've been to so many places. Like, why don't you put this stuff and tell it to other people through a travel blog? And I had no idea what the hell is that. I mean, I was good in computers and stuff, but I never really heard of travel blogs. I mean, not in the sense of writing stuff. And he sort of explained. His name was Varun. He was a cool guy from India, and he explained me how it works. Like so you just like communicate with people via blog, you write stuff, and you help others travel, right? You help them, save money here, find this cool place there, and eventually somehow you also make a living out of that. So that's like perfect. You make a living, you help others, cool. So once I finished my journey, which was pretty crazy, I landed back in Israel, and then immediately I opened the travel blog, and that was my first attempt in doing money online, sort of. Well, I've attempted before, but in surveys, man, like I don't even really, that doesn't really count. Like, doing surveys and getting like a penny here. That's pretty funny. I was like maybe 15 back then, and that's how it started. I had the blog. I don't have it now. It was a real travel blog, and it never really went anywhere because I lacked consistency. Now, this is something that you've mentioned in some of your videos that I saw, and something that I've learned that it's really important for somebody to get somewhere they really want: consistency. So, and then I stayed consistent. I've tried blogging. I've partnered with my friend later on. We tried selling like gym wear online. We've tried selling sunglasses. I tried Periscope. I tried Instagram. Nothing really gotten anywhere up until late 2016, when we have stumbled upon Amazon FBA. And we have found it. I mean, I think I've Googled it or something somehow. We were looking for a way, like we were partners, but we couldn't really get something on for a while, right? It took us, I think, a year after we have kind of partnered to really start doing something to a good level. So we sort of, we shake hands and we say like, right, because it seemed like a good opportunity. And we just shake hands and we say, all right, we got to do that. Otherwise, we can just quit this game we're trying to play, this entrepreneurship. Maybe it's all just real dreams and it's not real. So
hell no, never give up.
Exactly, man. And we actually never really wanted to, and so we didn't. And the first sale came, I think, after, it was a bit like maybe 2 months after we have started it from scratch, maybe three months. And that was exciting, man. Exactly. I was like, what?
Somebody actually bought my stuff? That's awesome.
Yeah. That was a moment, man, to remember. And I do remember it. And it took me places, right? Eventually, I was a lifeguard. I was working as a coastal lifeguard for a while. And while doing that, I had my, I liked writing stuff down. So I was
like a journal almost.
In terms of, of everything, like work stuff, just whatever. I put all stuff on paper. It's something, the way I operate. And I was sitting there, saving people occasionally, running the Amazon. It was crazy. You're 1 second, you're like listening to a podcast, and then boom, somebody's drowning. You run there and you take them out, and then you go back to the podcast.
Not now, Tim Ferriss. I got to save a life.
And sometimes you would pause it, right? You pause it and then you run, or sometimes you have to run straight away. It's crazy, man. And that's sort of how it worked out, man. Eventually, things got really well, sales got really up. And I said, my friend, we were both like, we got to quit the jobs if we really want to dive in there seriously, 100%. And we did it, right? And that was not easy. Not an easy step. It was a really sort of in a way, a scary step to take, right?
I was about to say, that seems really scary.
I mean, you gotta dive in, right? You have you have the business, but still, it's not that it's like we were like first year in business, something like this, but we just decided to do that, and I think that was one of the best steps that we did, because the sooner, of course, you gotta have like a foundation, you gotta have something, but when we quit, my perception of things changed. Because then I understood that it's just this, like there's nothing else, and I gotta work really hard now. It's no more jokes. Like that's the real thing now. And
you probably could put more of your focus into the business.
Yeah. Mostly because before that it was still not 100%. I had the income from being a lifeguard, and it was good, and that's what helped me to build this also, right? But still, I felt like I gotta finish this part of my life. I've spent like 5 years being lifeguard, a coastal lifeguard, and like a pool lifeguard. The sun, the girls, it was a majestic time, man. But I knew that I gotta stop, because that's the problem with being a lifeguard. It's so good, because technically, you it's a nice job, right? At least in the way I think about it, it was super awesome to be a lifeguard. But again, if you want to build a business, I guess, and I really want, big things in my life and stuff, I had to quit. And then it also brought me to doing YouTube, because, and I think it was actually, some people say that kind of you start doing the info business once your business starts sort of sucking. But I did it when the business was on the best wave. And why did I do that? I understood that, all right, that's nice, that's getting nice money. But why not I do something else? Because if this good wave crashes, because I was familiar with waves from the sea, they're huge sometimes, but then boom, right? but and then I've started, doing consultations with people. I think it was like a year ago when I started, and then I saw that beside the part that I'm able to help the person achieve their numbers in Amazon, right? I was also able to lift them up. Somebody comes and he's sort of a bit, maybe beside Amazon, he just wants to speak to somebody in a way, right? And then we kind of talk, and I see that this person is well, he feels better. He's shiny. He's sending me messages, and I was like, whoa, I have an impact on people, right? I knew that from before, and it took me a few years to figure it out that I have the power, one of the powers maybe, to make people feel positive about themselves, about their whatever they're doing, no matter who they are, where they're from, how they look. And it's crazy, man. This is something that I like so much. Like each time I get on a consulting call, I'm excited, man, to be able to help someone, to impact someone in a good way, man, in a good way. I believe that's something that I really like, and I will continue doing that. And that's sort of how I got here to Thailand. I wanted to travel, to live somewhere else, and now I'm here. I live in like a really nice neighborhood here it's called Rawai in southern Phuket, and the sea is like 5 minutes on a scooter.
Oh,
I have a really nice local place. I eat. It's pretty cheap, and the food is great. I have a gym here, which I pay about $150 per year, man.
that's super
That's crazy,
cheap.
right? And it's
Yeah.
really good. Like, I mean, yeah, life is good. It's hard. I don't think that everything is nice. You have the coconuts, you have the everybody here, but it's still hard. You gotta make things work. You gotta sit here, work. But I think it's a nice place to, yeah, to be working and to be creating things, because yeah, it's really nice here. I mean,
So let's talk about your superpower again, right? It seems like you've kind of done a lot of things, right? You were traveling, you figured out how to travel with very little money. You were lifeguarding, so you're saving people's lives. You built a business on Amazon. You tried a few other different things getting there. You started having a lot of success with Amazon, and now you're consulting, and I'm assuming still running your Amazon business. So there seems like there are a lot of things and you also mentioned how you really like to listen to people and you can really hear them, right? And not just like waiting to say your part, but like actually like listening to them and
true, man.
paying attention, right? Giving them your full attention. So what out of all of those things, and I really want to focus on what out of all of those things do you think has been the number one reason or the cause of your success?
Listening to people, man. 100%.
Really?
Because the reason I would say that, luckily, or I don't know how, I've met very special people throughout my life while traveling, all while I was actually modeling for a while. Also, I did all sorts of commercials and all sorts of stuff, and and it kind of led me to people all the time. Right? It's all about the people, and it's so easy. It seems to me, you can just ask someone to tell you something, right? And you listen to them, and you get so much out of this. So that's what led me to, back then, opening the travel bug, because I listened to the dude named Varun. Before that, I've listened to a girl named Doreen that told me that you can backpack. I didn't know that backpacking existed. So that's how it goes in life. For me at least, I listen to people and then they tell me things. I pay attention to what they say. I learn a lot from them, and then I can take action from what they told me. And that's what led me to, I guess, many things in my life, right? I listened, I paid attention, I valued their time. I value your time, because you invited me, and I really thank you for this, man. And
My pleasure.
that's how it works, right? I mean, I listen, I try to make my conclusions from what I've heard, and then take action. And that's the superpower. I mean, it sounds basic, maybe, right? Like we just listen, but then
But
you got to listen very well, because sometimes some people you speak to might be a very successful millionaire and you're not even aware of that, right? And he can tell you good things. Not just millionaires, people who have helped numerous people or people who have gone through things. Yeah.
yeah, I totally agree. And I think we're very similar in that regard because I would say probably all of the success in my life has been, and I'm not saying I'm this big deal, like I'm really not that big of a deal, but anything that I have been able to achieve and anything I've been able to do has been a result of listening to people. And honestly, the question that I first asked you when we got on the call
Hmm.
was the question that honestly has changed my life, which is, what is your story? Right?
Hmm.
Because when you
Yeah.
ask somebody that question, to me it's almost like I'm saying, I'm going to be quiet now. I want to hear you. Like, speak your truth. Tell me what you're
Hmm.
thinking. Like, get it all
Yeah.
out there, you know?
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you say that. How do you decide what questions to ask?
That's a good question, man. I guess the conversation flows like the same as we do right now. I believe it's not scripted for you, and you just go with the flow. So maybe you have some things in your mind you would like to ask about the person before you meet them, right? If you have somebody you are going to meet, right, it makes sense to dig a bit to see who they are, right? Right. So that's why I sell some of your things. Although you're the one who's asking questions, right? But still, I was interested to see who's Ben. Like, I haven't seen him in real life. But then let's see what he does. Oh, he does this and that. Cool. Let's see what else. And obviously, but then but the question with the story, that makes sense to ask anyone you're interested in having a conversation with, right? If you meet somebody, I don't know, in a coffee shop, and then you speak to them, and you would say like, so after a few moments of chatting or something, so what's the story? How you've gotten here? And boom, you have a few minutes to listen to something that they've gone through, and yeah, that's good.
Well,
Um,
it's
yeah.
interesting. It's interesting because I actually like to like the little you were talking about, like the little small talk before hitting him with that question, the what is your story question.
Mm.
I actually like to minimize that short talk or that small
Mm-hmm.
talk,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, as much as possible. Like, if I could literally just not say anything until I ask that what is your story question, that would be totally cool with me. Because like it doesn't get off of my mind until I ask, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it gets me in trouble sometimes because sometimes I'll be in a situation where there's a lot of people that I don't know, and I'm like, I want to ask all of you individually,
Uh-huh.
but like, how do you do that, right? So how do you handle like a group dynamic where you want to hear from everybody and you want to learn from everybody, but like everybody's talking?
Well, in a in a group, man, unless the friends are really close, I'm usually a quiet man. I'm not the person who blubbers a lot, and that what made me, how to say, improve my hearing. I can, sometimes you're in a group of, let's say, two girls, I don't know, three guys or something, and you listen, and you can, because your hearing skill is developed, you can hear who's faking some stuff or whatever. It's because your skill of listening has developed so much. It's not that I don't speak at all. I do give my point of view, and usually it's I don't small talk much. I'm not good in that, and in groups at all. But then I listen to them, and obviously, if something interesting comes up, I can then ask an interesting question or just make a compliment, whatever that be. But then in a group, I am usually the one who is not talking too much, making the listening. Yeah, man, for sure, in a group, kind of thing.
So when you were traveling, right?
Hmm.
It would seem like the more places you go, the more things that happen, and the more people that you're exposed to, like you get to interact with a lot of different personalities, right?
Yeah.
So who did you find were like and I'm talking about like by area, who were the
Mm-hmm.
most interesting people that you got to meet?
You mean in terms of nations, kind of thing? I mean, or like generally, like people. Well, it's okay. I got your question. Good question. And since have you ever been backpacking or traveling for a long time, Ben? Just before, have you?
Yes. So
I believe you like traveling as well.
so I went to Dallas for about 6 weeks or so last
Uh,
year. The year before that, I went to actually Israel for about 6, maybe
hmm.
7 weeks. I went to Birthright, and then
Right.
my cousin actually had a bar mitzvah there, so it's like I tried to time it to where it ended like right there. And then I've been all around the U.S. And then a couple other places, but not like real backpacking like I plan on doing very soon.
Yeah. So awesome, man. Awesome. Nice to hear. And about the birthright, I was a soldier accompanying the birthright back in the day,
Oh,
and it was
dude.
crazy, man. Like it was insane, man. I mean, you know what's going on there. I mean,
Yep.
and
Lots of
but
wholesome food.
it was a good time. And yeah, nice to hear that you travel a lot, man, and that you are about to go backpacking. Because what's the thing about backpacking? And I'm not speaking of backpacking as a cheap way of traveling, which it is. But generally, the way that you move, you get on a bus, you get on a plane. You have no. I didn't have a proper route of traveling. I thought of like when I started, I technically only had a plane ticket to New Delhi in India from Tel Aviv. And after a year, I had a ticket from Bangkok to Tel Aviv. I had no idea what's going to be inside this year. So that's how
Wow.
it started, right? And that again led me to many people, right? And I started alone. I just had a backpack. I said, okay, let's see what's gonna happen. Like I just wanted to improve my personality, man. I wanted to go out there and improve myself, improve my survival skills, my speaking skills. I improved my English a lot, man. I mean, I did speak English before that, but a year of speaking English all the time makes you speak English better, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that people from specific like all of them. I've seen weird people, fascinating people, sometimes bad people in a way. Usually everybody were good, and I wouldn't say like there's a specific nation or something that I told you we're all kind of the same. That's what I've understood, man. We're all the freaking same, man. Because we have different culture codes in a way, we take some things differently. But generally, and while backpacking, and for travelers who are on the way for a little while, they kind of seem really because you wake up each morning, you have no plan for today. Well, mostly, it makes you feel the freedom, man. And the world is big, so yeah. I mean, yeah, all the people were kind of cool from everywhere. Yeah, I think.
That's
I
awesome.
mean, yeah.
So, we spoke a little bit about this, because since we're both Jewish, I wanted to really ask, did you run into any anti-Semitism, or did you have anybody like give you shit about being Jewish while you were traveling?
That's a funny thing, man, because first of all, no. I think, with Israel itself as a country, sometimes it gets negativity because of the conflict. I don't really like diving into this because there's a lot to say. It's something that it's like a huge topic. It's going for like 70 or something years, right? Um, but no, no, not really, man. I mean, some people asked, some people think that when, Israel is like rockets everywhere and like camels walking around or something. I mean, it's just a country, man. And obviously, it would be better if there was no war, right? War sucks, man. And we as people there, we live peacefully. It's what's going on. It's just it's part of the conflict. I don't know. I'm unfortunately not a politician, or fortunately not a politician, and I can't really take care of this. And the funny thing is, I have met people from Palestine, and we were totally fine. I love them. I don't feel any hate towards them. I think it's primitive, all the hating things. And then around the world, I met people from, let's say, Malaysia, which is sort of a Muslim country, which I can go to Malaysia because I have an Israeli passport. And I'm still in contact occasionally with these people from Malaysia on my Facebook because, okay, so you're from Malaysia, you're from a Muslim country. Cool, I'm from Israel, right? So what's your story? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and never, no one really told me like, negative things about this. Well, there was actually one time when we kind of, I just went away, but not in the sense of somebody was saying like negative things towards, me having Jewish roots or something. It was just like, in a way, how to say? Well, we just didn't find the mutual language in a way, and it was in a way connected to Israel as a country. Mm-hmm. But I just said, okay, let's just not speak about it. I just wished these people a great day from my heart, 100%, and just went away, man.
That's awesome.
That's the only thing I think that happened, during this year. Besides that,
so would you say that from traveling, and I think it's interesting how we kind of moved from like listening to people and the whole listening concept, and it kind of feels like it just naturally flowed into travel. It's very interesting to me. Do you feel like you're a better person after you traveled?
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Because again, how to say, while traveling, you get into situation, while backpacking, let's say you got to stay in a dorm of 16 people, all right, just as an example. In a dorm of 16 people, you're in a group, right, of people. Some people have never experienced that before. They used to live in their homes, and then they go out traveling, and suddenly they have to share their space with 16 people, right? Now, go share your space with 16 people. It's not that easy, right? And there's got to be a mutual respect between these people. And magically, it happens I've seen funny stories, of a dorm and somebody's, sort of having sex with someone or stuff like that. It's pretty funny. I mean, somebody. But anyway, but mutual respect, man, is very important while traveling. And you learn that from traveling. And you learn to listen better. You develop your skills, survival skills, because, man, there were times when I wouldn't say that, we're hiking the Phan Xipang mountain once. Phan Xipang is a mountain in Vietnam. It's not that high. It's like 3.1 thousand meters. I'm not sure how it is, how much is that in feet. I still haven't learned feet after selling on Amazon for a few years now. I still can't figure out exactly. I use the calculators all the time. But I mean... And we were like hiking, and it was really raining hard. I didn't have any water, I remember, and it was like kind of it was hard. At some points of this specific trek, I was really dying to drink. At some point, I wanted to drink from the freaking I don't know, from how you call them. No, when it's raining, like
the rainwater.
Anyway, man. Yeah, kind of the rainwater, because we were lacking water, and the weather was so tough, man. Like, So your survivor skills go stronger, and communication, as I mentioned, everything, man. It's like the best thing that I think I've done in my life, and it only cost me like a year of traveling. I think I've spent about maybe $11,000 throughout this year,
for the whole year.
For the whole year, yes. Now, think about it, man. Like, some people make it in a second, right? But not about the making the money. It's in terms of, I was free to do whatever I wanted. I had this money, And I knew that, like, if you're going to go backpacking for a while and you're going to, obviously, if you have, like now we have maybe some sorts of income streams that come not maybe particularly from doing something. I mean, from doing something, obviously, but, you know,
Like
we can be
passive
sitting here,
income.
passive income. Yeah. That's amazing. I didn't have that back in the day. And maybe that was nice because I didn't have to, you know, to check my Seller Central. I didn't have to consult anyone. I actually had to wake up in the morning and just go
Just
see the world.
exist.
Just exist. That was awesome. It still is pretty much the same. Just now I have a bit more responsibilities.
So,
Yeah.
so let me ask you this. Two things real quick. One, what would you what would you take? Like if you were going back. No, wait. Let me ask the other question first. Let's say you're traveling, right? And worst
Yeah.
case scenario, you lose all of your shit. You have no access to money. You have no access to anything. How the hell do you survive in a totally foreign country where you don't know anybody?
Great question, man. And I'll give you an example of many people that I met throughout the journey. That a dude who came to India with $100, just as an example. I mean, the $100 is nice money in India. It can get the salary of some people there, you know, in like the distant parts can be easily $100 a month, right? But you know, in New Delhi or in Mumbai, $100 will not get you going too long around. I mean, obviously, still the locals make this kind of salary, but then, but say you lost $100 as well. You know, you spent them on I don't know, on alcohol or something. You know, one crazy night out somewhere in Mumbai. And then in the morning, you have pretty much nothing left. And you're like, where did I go from here? You go to other people, man. Because once you have no way to go, in a way, you go ask people for help. And that's crazy how I've helped many travelers throughout my journey. I remember going on a train in India, just reading a book, and there was a couple of Russians, a girl and a guy, and they didn't have 100 rupee, which is about $1.5 to pay for the train. Like the train ticket dude, you know, came checking and they were just sort of hijacking the train, or I don't know, hijacking, like just getting in there
Like
and
bumming
just
on the
going.
train, didn't pay for
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I kind of gave them just this little 100 rupee. Guys, just take it. Like, let's go. So, what's your story? I mean, I really like your stories as well. So it's not a problem, man. It's not a problem at all, to be honest. Like, if you lose all your credit cards, everything gets stolen, you have just go to some person. You tell him, like, dude, somebody stole my stuff. How do I get to the embassy of United States? Like, and if you're in some distant place, how do I get to this town? It's easy, man. People will help you. They will. People are good. People are good, man. People are good usually.
So you just randomly go up to people and be like, "You look like you're probably not gonna, be a bad person. Like, what do I do now? Like, I lost my stuff. I got nothing. How do I do? How do I eat tonight? Right? Like, is that pretty much it?
Yeah, yeah, man. Pretty much like this, and you will get food for sure. People will feed you. People will give you a place to sleep, and they will give you water to drink. No matter where you are, whether you're in Thailand, in the United States, in Ukraine, in Rwanda, everywhere they will help you. True, man, that's true. Because the world is good. The news let us believe that the world is bad and people are bad and but people are good everywhere, man. Trust me. I've been through, I think, up until now to like 20 countries or something like this, generally around the world, and people are good everywhere, man. I did see some bad people, but they're like the minority, and they're just probably they have something there, something bothering them. So you can just say, man, what's bothering you, man? Like,
What's up, dude? What's going on?
so simple.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, okay, so
Yeah.
let's say you're going backpacking. Actually, wait, let's frame it this way. I know I keep jumping around. But so I'm planning on going backpacking soon, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly where, I don't know exactly when. But
Mm-hmm.
what do I bring? I definitely need my laptop. Definitely
Mm-hmm.
need the charger for the laptop. Definitely
Mm-hmm.
need headphones to do these interviews because this is like coolest thing in the world to me, right? And
Yeah.
again, I'm super appreciative for your time. You're the man, and I love doing this stuff. So thank you for allowing me to live my dream. You're the best. And thank you to everybody watching, because y'all are the best.
Yeah.
And I love y'all too.
Yeah.
So anyways, got to bring this stuff for the show, right? Outside of that, what do you bring?
Look, just one little tip. Once you go around with different cities you're going to visit, take your laptop with you, because people are good, but you don't want to leave your $2,000 laptop in the dorm. It's mostly percent, in terms of percentage of your bag, your stuff being stolen. It's really low, but still, it's expensive, And some people use dorms for, sometimes they work in some place of the specific city, of the random city you are at, and they might be working and getting back to sleep, and maybe they are not that rich. It can happen. I didn't see that happening, but just, it's a lot of money to lose, like $2,000. You don't want to lose a laptop. So whilst walking around, you want to have your camera, all the stuff maybe with you. And it's not that hard, just put in your bag, a little bag you carry. Yeah. And the big backpack you're going to be carrying, where you have your, underwear or the t-shirts, whatever, pretty much your clothes, some different shoes. Bring shoes, man, different kinds of shoes as well. If you want to go clubbing, maybe you can bring, good clothes. Mostly you're going to look like a bum, well, backpackers look like, they're just, but that's yeah, that's about it, man. Just, chargers for stuff, your cameras, batteries, sunglasses. I don't know, yeah, that will pretty much extra charging stuff. Like if you're going to go trekking for 5 days into the Himalaya, right? You got to have extra charging for your camera. So bring those external chargers. Yeah, that's good. Big external chargers to charge your stuff up. Yeah.
Cool. So it sounds like your electronic stuff, extra chargers for your electronic stuff,
yeah,
clothes, extra shoes.
Shoes, man, important.
Maybe like a toothbrush or any sort of toiletry stuff that you need.
Yeah, all the toiletry stuff you have, like just think of your day in the States, like a normal day, and then just take it somewhere else, right? Pretty much the same. Just think that you have to carry everything with you. Yeah, all the toiletry stuff, some toilet paper just in case, all kinds of seriously, man, and it should happen, because if you're
Literally
boarding like
shit happen.
14 hour train, man, in India or something, you gotta be ready for yeah. So I mean, you're not gonna have it available there, pretty much. Just be ready for stuff not being available, man. You can be somewhere in India and don't have a charger for your camera or something in the closest 1,000 kilometers or something. Yeah, but just. And the thing is, with backpacking, you will still, even if you're going to be super prepared for this, you'll still arrive and you'll miss something. I assure you, man, that just happens. But make sure you don't miss anything related to your Project Egg, man. So in terms of your computer, have the chargers ready, have the batteries, think of it, because yeah, you got to do your stuff, right?
Yeah, totally. I'll
Right.
probably forget a hairbrush or an extra shirt, but not gonna forget that laptop, and that's pretty much all you need.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
And
awesome,
yeah.
man. That's awesome. Well, Vova, I do want to thank you so much. You're the man, and again, I wanna just express my gratitude for you sharing your time with me. This has been a total pleasure for me, and I really do appreciate you, and hope that you have also had a good time as well.
Thanks, man. It was awesome. It was really great. Thank you for having me, and it was really good time. I'm super pumped for the new day now. Yeah.
Awesome, man. So I'm going to wrap this on up, but right before I click the finish button, I do want to say to everybody out there, y'all are the best. I love you guys. And, insert cool tagline here. So see you guys soon.